watching the interview that he had with G-Sun, like, all of this, he's experiencing for the first time. So I want to be able to see this match, make it a barn burner. Let's take it away, casters.
Thank you so much, Raz. I wasn't expecting you to toss, but it was great. I really enjoyed it. And here we are into Champ Select, thanks to Omen and HyperX. And already we can see the Vi and the Yunara taking away the Azir and the Ryze there as well. And deokdam, I've got something to admit to you.
Oh?
This is the matchup that I was most excited for today.
That was not what I was hoping you'd admit, but I am done.
Well, what did you want me to admit?
We can talk about it after. It's all right.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Aurora is going to be the final ban here on the side of KT, and we're still looking for one more. That could be 4 mid bans, which could make some sense here, because protecting Dire, I think, is a good idea. Because so KT are a really easy team, deokdam. Let me give you a little bit of insight on KT.
Okay.
KT is BDD. That's it. That's the story. The Wukong is going to be taken away, though, and then BDD gets Orianna.
And he did pretty well with that yesterday.
He
so
did.
On
Yeah.
your checkbox, it seems pretty decent at the moment.
Yeah, so far, but the problem is, KT are also just a contrarian team, right? And so I was really worried. I really liked their draft yesterday, and you saw the early game. I mean, I thought that they were just going to straight up lose. So not going to happen this time around, and man, that is a powerful answer here from Team Secret Wales with that Rumble Jarvan that we were only talking about in the last game.
Yeah, and again, you still have the options to go for something like the Kai'Sa in that bottom side if you want to, kind of round out this dive-heavy focus. Oftentimes, even in the LCK, you'd see stuff like the Rakan paired with this sort of pairing as well. So you've got options here as Team Secret Wales. I'm curious what Cuzz wants to try and go for on the flip side.
Well, Neeko and Orianna, that might be a bridge too far, because as Orcs just mentioned, if Peter is on the Neeko, like, he was one of our best Neeko players that we had, and that is now going to get paired alongside the Caitlyn that deokdam played in the last game. Struggled a little bit in the earlier stages of the game. This time, not going to have to deal with the Yunara, though. And as we can see here, Dire thinking about what he wants to take into this Orianna. We'll see what it will be. As right now, considering an Akali, that has been something that a lot of players have elected to take into Orianna. But right now, looking at a Twisted Fate, I believe would be the first of the tournament if that does come on in. But instead, a Brad for Taki.
Yeah, I do like to pick up the Bard. It does well into the Neeko, and especially when you're looking at things like the Orianna, can try and ult her out of any of these team fight situations and set yourself up nicely for
Feels
that
really
Rumble.
good into Neeko as well.
100%, yeah. And I think this is where for Team Secret Wales, at least you have good answers at the moment. I don't know what they're going to try and take into the AD carry role, because this Caitlyn Neeko is still, regardless of whether you got the Bard there, very oppressive to try and play into. Ashe could be banned away here by KT to just try and get rid of some more of those answers into the Caitlyn and just make it even more uncomfortable for Eddie.
Yeah, we'll see exactly what is going to be banned away here. The Ziggs is something else that can kind of just say no to the laning phase. They might consider that one. We have seen Ziggs find some success so far in Worlds, as we have seen yesterday. Didn't work out quite so well in the play-ins, but that's feeling like a distant memory now. As the Annie going to be taken away from Dire, just going to remove what we like to call the Ryze group combo. That did involve a Wukong and an Annie and a Rakan, but the Annie was certainly a pretty pivotal part of it, and you can layer some of that CC alongside the Jarvan very, very nicely as well. Zin's out, going to be banned away from Cuzz. Cuzz has just been, like, when I say that this team is all BDD, that's normally, right? And KT normally are about a 4th or 5th place team in the LCK on a good day. When Cuzz is playing well, they beat Gen G. So we'll see whether Cuzz is going to be able to get his hands onto something pivotal as we do look for the next round of bans. Jhin taken away, as well as the Scion to round us out. And Eddie, where are we going? Ezreal Bard, this has been a pretty powerful lane in the past and can really put some hurt onto the bottom lane. We've seen Ezreal's picked into Caitlyn many, many times over the years. Of course, some of the oldest champions that we have here in League of Legends.
And yeah, and they got rid of the Scion for the Ezreal, which was a good call up front to be like, hey, we don't really have much on the way of tank shredding, so we'll make sure that we can get rid of some of those beefy boys. But KT say, hang on, you didn't get rid of all of them. There is another one.
And you can't pick Trundle. Because, of course, the Jarvan is already locked away. So holding onto that one, and in fact, you really can't pick the Trundle, because Trundle is going to get picked here by Cuzz. So a lot of team fighting prowess as Dire thinking about that final pick. The Akali would be a fun one. Makes sense for the lane matchup, but does make things pretty iffy when it comes to navigating team fights It's going to be a lot more about making sure Eddie has the space to do the damage as they do lock away the Galio. A lot of team fighting here on both of these compositions. I feel like the DPS certainly going to be there alongside, you know, Hero and Eddie being able to get that work done. But KT, like, structurally in this composition, it scales beautifully. There will be that trough in the mid game though. 2 items for Orianna, 2 items for Caitlyn. You don't feel fantastic at that point. And so maybe with the Team Secret Whales playstyle, which is fight all the time, when they continue fighting towards the mid game, that's going to feel a whole lot better.
Yeah, I still think you're going to struggle here as Team Secret Whales, like in the early stages before we hit that mid game. Caitlyn, Neeko, good push. You've got the Ornn who's going to be completely fine. And Trundle can do a ton of work into triple melee that he's going to be able to steal a ton of stats off of when you get into towards these skirmishes. So I think it's going to be relatively difficult to stop Caitlyn from doing Caitlyn things in the early game. Then when you get to those mid to late game fights, I don't really see anyone who kills Ornn. Yeah. And he can still deal a lot of damage and kind of facilitate that trough with Caitlyn. And then we get to late game fights where you just have the Caitlyn doing the thing she did yesterday.
Yeah, and she has ornaments and things like that.
Yeah.
So just thousands of stats being doled out towards KT. One thing I do like for KT is the fact that there is that insurance policy, though, right? Getting into that late game, you feel a whole lot better when you've got all of the ornaments, all of that extra money's worth of stats, and it's going to be helping them out. But I mean, it's do or die in the early game here for Team Secret Whales. We knew that. That's just how these teams are going to function as we head towards the Rift for the second game of the day. Who is going to be 2-0 here in Swiss? It's going to be one of either Team Secret Whales or KT. It's kind of mind-blowing. Wasn't expecting KT to be off to such a good start. That is not the way they do things in the World Championship, although group stages have been okay for them in the past. Looking at you, 2018. Then the quarters wasn't so great, Hector, if you remember.
Yeah, that is how
I had that one burnt into my brain.
Yeah, I think you brought up like 4 or 5 times this week.
Sorry, that's yeah. Is it getting frustrating now? Should I stop?
No. It helps to take a trip down memory lane every so often.
Yeah, it really, I sort of use casting at Worlds for my thaerappy sessions.
Okay.
So
and how's that going?
It's going really, really well. I just feel like having you here helps me feel better. And thankfully, all of you at home as well are also there, whether you like it or not. But let's focus on the game, shall we? As so far, no funny lane swaps. And Perfect going to be feeling very happy, of course. Perfect is kind of the weak link for this KT roster. And so if Hizto can do anything in this game, maybe it's punish the Ornn, get the Rumble ahead, and allow something to happen, because we know Ornn feels pretty comfortable in this matchup, was sort of the secondary choice into the Rumble, alongside things like Gwen and the Aurora throughout the year. And the Galio, of course, that has also been one of those choices. But this is going to be a very tough lane, especially early on. And we can see here, that is exactly how it's going to look. With Mystic Shots, you can kind of match the range, but outside of that, things can be real rough. Yeah,
one of the things that I often look at when I see a Caitlyn lane is what's the mid lane matchup like as well? Because oftentimes if you've got nice push in mid, you can kind of cover your own bot lane and stop the Caitlyn from being able to be as aggressive. But it's Galio into Orianna. You are not getting push at any point in time in this lane. And it's more going to be a case of this Caitlyn having as much time on that bottom side as she wants to. I wasn't sure if Hizto might even just go for a quick transitional gank into mid lane to try and burn BDD's flash and then make things a little bit easier for Dire. But at the moment, it is going to be KT just doing what they want to essentially in this early game.
Yeah, that's how it's happening. Both of the junglers moving down towards that bottom side, Cuzz mainly just to keep his eye on what the Jarvan is going to be doing, making sure that there aren't going to be any punishments, because that lane is going to be shoved under that turret forever. And so always going to be somewhat gankable, you could imagine, as Dire looking for a little bit of a taunt here onto BDD. The clockwork is, however, winding up. And BDD not looking too worried about this Galio for now.
They still more than likely have to go back up towards this top side. So maybe this is where we see this transitional gank now as Dire stepping up. Yeah. BDD playing to the right side of the lane. He's got a good read here.
Yeah, possible opportunity, but Hizto's still going to walk his way in. BDD with dissonance available, all that sort of stuff. He also has phase rush if he decides to hit some abilities, so not really going to be too worried about it, as Rift Scuttler is what Hizto's going to be able to take for a consolation prize. Feel like it wasn't ever really something that he was expecting to work out, as Cuzz on vision going to be able to take down this crab himself. And man, it's just not fun for the Galio just in general, but Hizto now looking for an opportunity towards Perfect here. When will the Bellows Breath come in? That's the question. Is Hizto going to have to get himself out of there? The flash employed as well, and that was not the dive they were looking for.
No, not able to make it work at all. Perfect with a great flash there to move away from the knock-up and keeps himself completely safe. And I don't honestly think you can kind of look for much of a repeat on this top side of the map. That kind of looked like an opportunistic moment.
Yeah, they did get the flash, so there is at least that. So flash advantage for Hero on this Rumble, but that's still not feeling fantastic.
Yeah, it's the only thing I'd be worried about is like Perfect should hit 6 by the time you can kind of set up this next gank in the top side, and I don't really like your chances of trying to dive the Ornn when he's got that ultimate available.
Yeah, that will certainly be a toughie. Right now you got Cuzz towards that top side of the map, going to be looking at his wolves and continuing to farm things out. Things once again looking somewhat slower, but just some farm leads being picked up in mainly mid lane and bottom lane here for KT. But no really big hiccups to worry about just yet. As you can see, I mean, the gold is practically even. We'll just see, because we've already said, you know, if you get to the late game, that's when KT are really going to flourish. But also the early game, they are quite good, right? There is going to be that gap as we try and bridge those two game states for KT. So Team Secret Whales can play this one out relatively slowly, extremely early, but we're going to have to see them come alive as we get to maybe like Heralds and things like this.
I do wonder, though, how defensive BDD is going to go with his build. Because he's gone for the Seraphs, and I would imagine he wants to pick up an early Zhonya's Hourglass because he's got so much dive, and he's going to be the target of a lot of that dive as these fights go on. So he may actually have to wait a little bit of time before he can really come online, depending on how defensive he wants to go with the build.
Well, you can see Dia going somewhat aggressive towards BDD. Does still have his flash up and available, but Control Ward going to spot Hizto out. He does make his way in. Interruption on the back here by Perfect, who only level 5 actually, so not going to be fighting too hard up against the Rumble. He's looking to get some items together. Hasn't actually been back at all. Of course, Perfect has just been building stuff in his warehouse that he brings with him. And Cuzz is going to be able to find Hizto, but Ward goes down. Knockup comes on in. Cuzz needs to be a little bit careful here, but will be somewhat all right, as we can see. And teleport to bring the Bard on over. Taki going to be setting up for some grubs. And now it's starting to look like we do have Team Secret Whales identifying it's about time to get on the front foot.
Yeah, they're trying to get out of this bottom side, but Eddie then ends up taking a lot of damage as a result. You have Dire with level 6, but you can see Eddie just has to completely back away. That's giving KT so much, like 400 gold already in this bottom side in the difference.
And that's going to be another plate. That'll be 500 in an instant. In fact, it's already there. Closer to 6, as we can see here. So the Caitlyn doing what it says on the tin. Also has a Cull that's stacking up. Going to have that advantage as well as Hizto moves in and looks for Cuzz. Interrupts the flag and drag quite nicely as there's the heroic entrance. Cataclysm comes down and Cuzz in so much trouble. First blood goes over to Hizto on this J4.
Nice invade and setup from Team Secret Whales there. The ultimate from the Galio burning that flash, and Hizto patient on the Cataclysm. Really nice stuff, and even the interrupt onto BDD there, thanks to Taki.
Yep, beautifully done. And Cuzz didn't have level 6, so wasn't actually able to press that subjugate, try and get himself a little bit tankier. As deokdam and Peter moving on in, they're pinging down onto these grubs. As Peter is just going to try and convince Hizto to leave the area. Grub's going to be up in 24 seconds, so it's not exactly imminent. Pretty close.
It's interesting to see the lane assignments coming out from Team Secret Whales, though. They're moving the Galio down to actually face off against the Ornn and leaving the Rumble on his own the top side. It's not a terrible idea, like Rumble fine most of the time with that ultimate to farm out the wave. But I did expect him to try and keep the Rumble against the Ornn because he does have the percentage max HP damage in his Q.
Yep.
And makes it a little bit easier to try and manage against the Ornn.
Well, so far, making sure that they do have as many people towards the top side of the map as the grubs will be the target. As flash out from Peter, but immediate flash to follow from Hero. Still, Peter is going to be fine. Peacemaker barely connects, but does do a bit of extra damage there towards Hero, and KT just push him away. Cuzz,
I think, was spotted just on the edge of a ward there, so immediately Team Secret Whales are like, all right, we want nothing to do with this if the Rumble's going to be involved, especially as he's ticked over to 6 and has that ultimate available. So it'll be all 3 grubs going to Caitlyn and Neeko.
Oh my goodness, that is that's a worrying sign We'll see whether they can get this first Chemtech Dragon, though, as a consolation prize, as that one is going to get started up by a hero. Eddie moving on over as well to offer some DPS. Control ward, not actually going to be cleared as Eddie finally does get to it, but it looks like Cuzz not going to be interested in taking that one down. Just more plates being taken. Pop Blossom connects onto the Rumble as well. Tangle Barbs to follow up as now Peter just looking to escort him towards the Death Chamber. deokdam, can you actually connect it? Ace in the Hole comes in. I don't think that's going to be enough damage, and Peter is just dead. Just takes way too much, and now deokdam in such an awkward position, but does have a minion wave coming on over. Cosmic Binding does not connect, and deokdam just back to business, killing these red dots.
Taki a hero in that situation. deokdam trying to see if he could finish it off the kill with Peter, but go too far. And you don't even get the plates off the back of that. So the win that could have been there for KT snipped out by Taki.
Really nicely played. And now Pop Blossom going to be down for a little while longer as well. So certainly some good things here. 2-0 now for Team Secret Wales as far as those kills are concerned. And the gold entirely even. It's going to make you feel a whole lot better as these skirmishes have looked relatively good for the Vietnamese squad.
Yeah, the difference maker is going to be essentially just jungle equals AD carry. I think, though, for deokdam, he's going to be fairly happy that he can, again, with these 3 Void Grubs, continue this pressure. And despite the mistakes that have come through from KT's bot lane on trying to make that play happen, if they just go back to basics, which it looks like they're going to, they should be able to just continue to push through this Caitlyn, get her some of these early towers, early structures, and try and snowball her into a position where she just becomes outrageously strong.
Yeah, and the trough that we talk about all the time used to be a whole lot more prevalent than it is now. Collector, I think, has really added a better bridge for the Caitlyn to continue doing a fair bit of damage in the mid-game. But it still does exist. And so we'll see whether they can find some capitalization, because of course 2 items that's where Ezreal lives. He loves that, right? So that is going to be their moment. Once the Trinity Force comes in and that Mirror Mana, try and really find some angles in this game. As perfect, we can see a little puppy there. So we know that there's something going on, and out comes Hizto. Perfect, having to run away. I mean, he's pretty tanky. And yeah, they're just not going to be able to get him as he waddles towards the turret.
Didn't even have to burn flash, so he's going to be happy with that one. Can TP back up to catch that wave if needs be, but I'm not so certain if this is where he want to be as dire. Taki trying to come down to support his mid laner.
Yep. The good old Yordle snap trap being quite frustrating when a teleport is employed. Eddie moving down a teleport to come in from the Rumble as well. We'll see whether Perfect decides to join, but no. He just teleported towards the top side of the map. Equalizer comes down, and there is the Tempered Fade to lock up Peter, and he is just dead. Justice Punch comes on through. Peter is just going to be taken out, and KT, they lose the Feats of Warfare over to Team Secret Wales, still yet to find a kill in this game.
I mean, nice job by Team Secret Wales to find the pick and shut down a bit of deokdam, but you can see it's both of the solo laners for KT that are getting the advantages for KT off the back of it. Played in mid, played in top. And essentially answers for the gold that was just picked up on the kill on the Neeko.
Nope, you're doing the wrong thing here, okay?
Oh,
you're focusing on the gold, the macro play. I'm looking at 3-0 at the top of my screen.
Yeah, what about the other number that says 19.8
no.
bigger
Yeah,
than 19.6?
You just have to be a bit selective.
Ah, okay,
This has been my
so
career.
You just
Be
put
very
your hand
selective.
over the top of the screen. Okay, yeah. Well, actually not the top, just the sides
Just have
of the
a
top.
very narrow view
of
what's going on up there. I can see the timer, and I can see the 0-3. That's all that, and I can see the dragons, because that helps my narrative.
Okay,
Yeah, just pick and choose, and it is A-OK. But also, this is exactly what they need to be doing, right? Like, this is something that KT are going to be better than them at, right? It's macro play, it's punishing cross-map, and things like that. But as long as Team Secret Wales keep themselves in it, keep fighting and making plays, and they could run away with this game. They are certainly not out of it yet, as all those other numbers that you decided were real are still very even.
Yeah, I think the things I would like to see from Team Secret Wales is kind of like a 1-2 punch, where you come in and you go, right, we need to get this flash gun on the Orianna. Let's go and make that Cataclysm play towards the Orianna, get her to burn that flash, and then we repeat it, right? But unfortunately, with the timers that are coming up, like 50 seconds until Dragon. Oh, hang on.
Oh dear, not going to get taunted up. It has to deal with Taki. Throws down the barrier, and as it turns out, deokdam is just fine. Peter going to move in. Tempered Fate going to connect. And the Pop Blossom to answer the flash forward from Peter. True Shot Barrage going to connect onto deokdam, but they've destroyed Taki already. And all Dire finds is a clone with with that taunt. KT, turn it around beautifully.
Perfect roam timing from Peter, managing to get into position and turn that play around. Team Secret Wales desperately wanted that kill, but just couldn't make it work.
Not going to happen this time around. Is now perfect. Finding the ulti into Hero here. Gets the second knock up. The Brittle getting procced over and over again. And this is why we see the Ornn picked into this Rumble. Just gets to a point where it's so difficult to do any damage.
The Hollow Radiance, that early magic resist, helping out massively in the play. There's the equalizer, though. It's perfect, able to waddle out of it.
Yep. We'll just clear out the wave, and I think that was mainly what Hero was trying to do, buy himself an opportunity as we have a bit of a scuffle brewing here in this bottom side river. With the Dragon already at half health. Having a look at the picture-in-picture as Taki searching for some of these cosmic bindings. BDD moves in, and now it could be the time for Cuzz. It is going to be the Dragon taken, though, and it's Hizto that decides to take the fight. Heroic entrance come down. deokdam is just eviscerated. And Team Secret Wales, they're the ones making the moves. KT just kind of caught napping.
Perfect target selection from Hizto. He knew that there was no flash on deokdam because it was just using that bot lane scuffle. It means he can immediately get that Cataclysm and set up for the follow-up from Dire. Beautiful stuff from Team Secret Wales.
Really nicely played. Flash does have to respect the Shockwave. So Taki not going to have that one up and available. Now the Rift Herald will get spawned. We have a couple of those feats, though, and if this Rift Herald goes over to Team Secret Wales, we might be able to just lock down feats of strength already in this game. As we're getting relatively close to some of these Team Secret Wales turrets going down. Caitlyn certainly pretty good at destroying them. Does have one minion away from the cull. That is so annoying. He is finally going to get that one cashed in, so a bunch of extra money does come on through for the Caitlyn.
Still though, managing to get the first item completed. Most of them are coming through on KT. Just the reset there for Team Secret Wales to actually finish off Hero's first item on the Leandri's Anguish. And I think that's what Team Secret Wales were waiting for this Rift Herald play. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just try and hard force as soon as the ultimates come back up and see if they can make a play on KT once more.
Yep. It was fantastic watching Peter just pick up a pedal. It wasn't me, but some of my colleagues have coined him as the pedal peddler. Peter has been pretty good at picking those up. And in fact, KT have a monopoly on the pedals right now, as we can see. 3-0.
Picked a pack of purple pedals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pickled pedals or something. Not entirely sure. It's been a while since I've done that tongue twister. And yeah, but we'll have to ask Peter about it when he gets interviewed the next time. As Taki moving himself up, and they do have a fair few members of Team Secret Wales moving on over towards this Rift Herald. deokdam will just collect this wave. This hero is going to be delivering it to the turret.
Yeah, I think KT again, realizing that if deokdam doesn't have that flash up, he is significantly more vulnerable in these plays. So they're going to try and wait for that to come back up, which is why I think for Team Secret Wales, once this Galio ult, as you can see, is about to tick over, that's going to be their go button to try and start up the Rift Herald. They've moved plenty of people into position, and they should just be able to move over now.
I tell you what, I do really like the fact that BDD went for the Blighting Jewel instead of building Rod of Ages and going for like the full Bruiser. Might actually be able to do a fair bit more damage a little bit earlier on in this game. Could be working out, but right now Team Secret Wales holding on to this Rift Herald as Peter moving on in. Cuzz moving over as well as, oh my goodness, BDD, so much damage onto Hero. He is out of there. Do not expect a Rumble to do anything. True Shot Barrage, though, doing a whole lot of work, but Cuzz, this time he's got the ulti, and this time he's going to survive. The Ram comes on down now as well, but Perfect not going to be able to send it back. Still, they won't need to as Dire gets destroyed. Cuzz picks up the eye, and KT just start running away with it.
You even got BDD getting that Rift Herald on the back of the play with the auto attack as well. And it's immediately going to be moved towards that mid lane as KT find what they needed.
Oh, man. Mid lane outer turret being ripped open as well will provide so much map control here for this team. And now Cuzz going to be able to continue running. Eddie, can you actually do it here? 115 on the health bar, but now Cuzz is in a very awkward spot. Let's see whether they can get him walking down the red carpet here as Taki takes a magical journey and gets the stun from the Cosmic Binding. Cuzz is dead. Hero grabs the kill. Very nicely done as Team Secret Wales at least get something back. Still, it's not quite enough as we have the first turret going down towards that top side, and KT still with a whole bunch of money in this game. Perfect as well. Really starting to win this matchup into Hero as Peter just saying, Perfect, just wait for me, man. I'm losing out on my 1v1. How's yours going? His is going pretty well, as Hero is going to get shoved underneath this outer turret, and they're going to claim yet another one with the help of BDD.
Yeah, Taki's was Hero's hero there in that one, because the fact that you got that slow was the only reason that Peter couldn't get in range to actually finish off the or get the tangle barbs a little bit easier. So still, again, like, it's kind of a silver lining for Team Secret Wales. You've got top tower and mid tower that were taken in the last play. Now with that rumble being pushed back, bottom tower has been taken. Maybe they can get the top lane turret for Team Secret Wales, which will help out a little bit. We're going to come back and look at this fight as BDD gets so much work done against Hero. He has no interest in being part of this fight anymore. And that subjugate from Cuzz doing work onto Hizto to finish him off. And then you can see BDD stealing it from right underneath the noses of Team Secret Wales.
And Justice Punch getting blocked there from Perfect, making sure that there was no chance. deokdam getting more money. Oh, it is a worrying sign as Cuzz takes a bite out of Hero, puts down the kennel as well as Ace in the hole from downtown collects him. And Team Secret Wales not going to be able to fight for this dragon, and that will spell feats of strength going over to KT. We really went the distance as far as that is concerned. As you see, all of those circles are going to be well and truly filled up. And KT will be the ones to claim it in the end. Ships in the night here, as we do see the Galio going back home. But obviously, him and Perfect not going to be too worried about how this 1v1 is going to be going.
I like the way Team Secret played the after fight, though, or after objective. They just kind of sit around and are like, hey, look, if you try and face check this, you will end up getting killed. But now they might be the ones on the receiving end.
Oh dear, the flash ram is going to come on through here, but the answering heroic entrance is good. Bellow's Breath is going to eat the CC. However, great knockup from Hizto, and they will be able to take down Peter. Not much of an opportunity for him as BDD finally gets in, but Cataclysm finds him immediately. Perfect having to get the heck out of there. The taunt does absolutely nothing as deokdam. He's freeing until he's not. Justice Punch comes on down. Arcane shift forward, and deokdam gets over the wall, finds the net, and there's the headshot. Eddie overextends. BDD is somehow still alive, but maybe not for long, as Hizto is going to be able to get him. There it is. Q connects. deokdam, last one standing here, and there is the team fighting from Team Secret Wales.
Great job by Team Secret Wales. They managed to protect their own and also get the counterpunch. So Perfect goes for the engage here, but look at where the damage dealers are. BDD still in river. You don't have deokdam in position, so Team Secret Wales able to collapse faster. They get onto Peter, finish him off. A great ultimate from Taki keeps deokdam locked down, and everyone turns onto BDD, who doesn't burn his flash at the start of this. But it's the point here where Hizto manages to burn it. You then have Hero coming through on the side, and Eddie, arcane shifting forward, gets a ton of work down in the backline even before he dies. And now it's just the fact that you have the health, more health available for Team Secret Wales. BDD has nothing left in the tank when it comes to mana. And deokdam gets a little bit on the back.
Yep, 3 for 2 in the end. But the advantage does go over to Team Secret Wales. Still, it's not enough to take too much of a chunk out of the gold advantage that KT does have, but signs of life are always fantastic. We love to talk about standing gold. And as you can see, a couple of extra turrets have been taken here by KT. So Team Secret Wales, if they can take some control of this game, might be able to knock them down, fill up those coffers, and oh dear. Oh, Dagda. This is where the game gets weird, because Arakan's on the Rift. We'll see who's going to be starting it up. We know that KT capitalized on that one in their series against MCOY yesterday. Will that happen again here as they do start to move towards that top side? The call of the Arakan, it's such a powerful thing. But right now, you got Team Secret Wales backing away, getting the vision down where they can. Cuzz also not feeling safe enough to claim that entire control ward. Peter with the shape splitter going to be pretty lucky to be able to throw that forward to get some vision down, as this outer turret, man, it is very, very close to dead. And will be taken here. Peter with the sidestep. deokdam not going to get connected on there by the Tempered Fate. Teleport comes in by the Galio, but Team Secret Wales unable to find the engage that they were looking for. Still managed to take down the turret.
It felt like Team Secret Wales were trying to bait KT into a teleport play, because obviously with the Galio you still have that ultimate to move yourself across the map, and hoping that maybe that would be enough then that they could threaten the Arakan. But KT don't take the base, they keep that Ornn to the bottom side, and Team Secret Wales may just end up trying to put pressure towards the top side of the map to force that teleport play, but instead they're just going to back away.
Yep, going to be a teleport in from Taki there with his unsealed spellbook. 2 items are now done here for Eddie. So this Ezreal going to be feeling pretty good, but we are getting so close to 3 for deokdam. When that rapid fire cannon comes in, he's going to be so frightening. Even the Peacemaker's doing some work here as Hizto will be able to attest to. Cuzz running real fast, just trying to hit anyone with his club. Looking a little bit angsty here, as we can see. Oh, denies the Flag and Dragon, realizes that he just has to use the Cataclysm and try to get something done, but it's deokdam gets another headshot, and no jungler means this Otacon could just belong to KT.
Cuzz also doesn't use the subjugate, so if you try and engage on this as Team Secret Wales, Cuzz has that in the back pocket still. Yep. Perfect making their way up.
And as soon as Dire comes down as well, that subjugate will give him so much tankiness against this tanky Galio. Still, the Ram going to come on forward. Denial there, not quite going to come through as the Otacon just collected here by KT. Peter very happy because that means so many petals going their way. And in fact, 25-8, my goodness, that is pretty ludicrous. However, not going to overextend for another fight here on Team Secret Wales side. So not going to lose too much more than just the Otacon.
Especially when you've got 20 seconds until that next dragon. They want to get back out of the map and deny what has been some early stacking on the dragons from Team Secret Wales. You can see them beelining towards those objectives with the extra teleport that they had available. But still, KT, it's patience, it's not overextending, it's not giving too much, and it's causing issues now for Team Secret Wales.
Yeah, one of the problematic things here is that KT's lead, it's not big enough to make you feel comfortable. I think it needs to be at about 17,000, something like that, to really feel comfortable in a KT game. As Tanglebuffs comes on through, the Baron is going to spawn, but it's the Dragon that's on their minds. KT just moving forward like a freight train right now. deokdam is just not going to be touched, as somehow it's Peter that locks down the Dragon and finds the Rumble as well. Ace in the Hole comes on through as Hero, going to be the next one to die. Oh God, Eddie's in the scrap. He does Arcane Shift away, but it's just still going to be him lying on the floor, and KT will just take out the entirety of them apart from the Gargoyle.
The KT just bulldozed their way through everyone on Team Secret Wales, and Baron has just spawned as well, so perfect. Going to keep Dire interested as KT move immediately over towards the next objective.
Oh man, it's the wrong time to lose a big team fight, especially with BDD pushing another wave forward. He'll take down an inner turret. This gold lead is going to balloon an absurd amount already to the tune of 6,000. You add the Rebel Baron power play on top of that, we're probably sitting at about a 10K gold lead. And I'm glad I said that thing about 17,000 gold being required, because otherwise this one could be pretty done and dusted, and in fact probably should still be, as we check it out one more time.
Yeah, it's just KT being able to play the front to back. Great ultimate, perfect across here, and there's no real threat onto deokdam or BDD, and even the steal as well, coming through from Peter of all people, as Hizto launches himself in, gets subjugated, goes down, and then it's just KT bulldozing their way through behind this mega strong front line of the Ornn and the Trundle with those extra stats.
Yep, and that's what front to back looks like, ladies and gentlemen, and it's working pretty well here for KT at the same time. I tell you what though, looking at this from KT's perspective, it's a great game to have perfect finding a lot of these angles. I know it kind of overextended in that mid-game play, but that was him feeling himself. And you want to see him actually have some confidence here on the world stage. That's exactly what we're seeing. Shockwave going to collect Eddie, and he's taken down by deokdam after he tries to Arcane Shift away. That is going to spell the end of this inner turret. 5 have been ripped to shreds here by KT, and they are not stopping anytime soon. This is exactly what deokdam wants to do on this Caitlyn. Keep sieging, and they'll take down their first inhibitor of the game here at 27 minutes.
It's still 30 seconds until Eddie's up. This is going to be the entire base, it feels like, decimated. How much further do KT want to push?
I think maybe to the Nexus. And I don't think they need to go any further than that, as Cataclysm going to come on through. There's the equalizer to layer on top, and the Cosmic Binding is fantastic. Peter going to be going down here, but as you can see, KT, they just want to win the game. The Ram going to come on by, but it doesn't go back. Heroic Entrance comes on through, but the Bellows Breath eats the CC, and Dire not going to be able to take down the Ornn. We've got another Nexus turret being taken here as Hero lying on the floor, and my God, deokdam is just destroying them now on this Caitlyn. Perfect is flashing in, and the Nexus is going to be next on the menu unless the Caitlyn is just going to die. Meanwhile, Cuzz and BDD, they're going to be able to finish the job. BDD goes golden because he's got that button to press. And KT will claim their next opponent 2-0 here for the LCK 3rd seed. And my brain was about to say 4th seed. That's sort of what it feels like. But of course, they are our third seed coming in here to Worlds and looking fantastic so far in the Swiss stage. But that is all from us. Let's throw it over to the desk with a very relieved Law.
Relieved. Yeah, relieved. Let's call it
That's a good
that.
one.
It's not about the early game here for KT Rolster at Worlds so far. It is about recovery. It is about that mid game, those objective controls.